Hello, everyone. Kathy Bacon here with What's Your Story? Thank you so much for joining me this evening. As always, I so appreciate you supporting What's Your Story Radio and all the guests that I have on. It really does mean a lot to me. Um, Tonight, still in Bellevue, Washington. As you know, I've been traveling around the globe, and now I'm in Seattle area. I've been doing my radio shows. Well, they've been done for my sons, from my daughters, from my mothers. Gosh, every relative has given me a space to do my radio show. So it's really amazing how it's all happens. No matter where you are in the world, you can do whatever you want to do. Tonight, I have a guest that I've known for a while, and she was on another radio show I did that was called Pay It Forward Radio a few years back now. And it's so funny, I had forgotten, and I don't know that I had gotten her name fully at that time. The reception was so bad on Mile High Radio that night when I was trying to interview. And so she's back, and it's so funny how life sort of runs and goes that way, right? Before I tell you about Trish, I want to tell you a little bit about my website, and that everyone I interview is on that website, and that is www.kathybacon.com. I list all my past guests and all the guests that are coming up, and you can read about them, the past guests, you can see their videos. I also have a What's Your Story radio YouTube channel, and you can view the videos there as well, and all the interviews if you miss them, because really the people that come on here are worth knowing. You should know them, you should know about them, and that is the exact reason that I do this show, so that we can connect humanly over the internet, and we can find out about each other and our stories and what we do. Let it be known, though, that every story is unique. We all have our own unique story. There's no judgment here about anyone's story. It could be happy, sad. It could be about success. It could be about defeat. It could be about anything that's happened to you along the way that makes you who you are today and inspires others. So again, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm inspired by having the opportunity to give you your voice and to speak on your behalf. So tonight, my guest is Trish Walker. And Trish's journey began several years ago when she knew there was something more out there for her. Haven't we all really felt like that before? She had left her corporate career in the medical device pharmaceutical industry to stay home and raise her son. After several years, Trish realized that they would both be happiest if she found what her soul was calling her to do. Trish's path led her to certification through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. She has also acquired her Life Cycle Celebrant title through the Celebrant Foundation. Along with Trish's master's Reiki title and her previous background in healthcare and business, she's utilizing her skills to work with clients who may have lost themselves in their careers, raising a family, or other life transitions that may have occurred. Divorce, job loss, we know what can happen in our lives, and sometimes it really takes us by surprise. Fast forward to today, where Trish has acquired several modalities and using them to help her clients find what is calling their souls. With her certifications in Reiki, energy mastery, and holistic health coaching, she is able to intuitively work with clients to help them find the answers within themselves to step into their best version of you and come out with version you 2.0. She's an avid supporter of Reach Out Worldwide. It's a charity, www.roww.org. She's been a previous guest, like I said, on Pay It Forward Radio with Chef Jason Kiefer and David Greenholtz. She loves to travel just like me. And you can follow her on Twitter, Trish Walker at 50 for a year, and Instagram at trish.walker1. She also has a Facebook page. And you don't have to remember this all right now, because I am sure we will find out again are best ways to get in touch with her. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Trish Walker.
Hello, how are you?
Trish, nice to see you.
See you too. Last time it was radio, and this time we're face to face. So thank you so much for this episode.
I love it so much more, I think, because radio is really great. You can hear someone's voice, but I always wonder what people look like or how people are feeling when they're talking about something. So this has really been awesome, and I'm so, so grateful that I have this platform to share with everyone. So tell us a little bit about your previous life, Trish.
Wow, my previous life, from that life to today, wow. I won't go back as far as telling you where I went to kindergarten and all that good stuff, but I was born and raised in New Jersey on the East Coast. From New Jersey, after college, I started my pharmaceutical and medical device career, as you spoke about.
Yes.
And it had me moving to Belgium for a couple of years, which was an amazing opportunity. You've lived out of the country, so you know what that experience. I believe every American should take the time to do that.
I agree.
And then I came out to Park City, Utah, because going from Belgium to back to New Jersey was not a real good transition for me. So came out to Park City the year before the Olympics, was only going to stay a year, and I'm still here. It was, you described that I left my corporate career to stay home with my son, and that was kind of when my journey began into my 2.0.
Yeah, wow. I mean, those kinds of things, just traveling and being in other countries and then coming back and then having a son and all those things sort of play into that journey of 2.0 you, right? So tell us a little bit about your lifestyle in Park City, Utah.
Well, Park City is, I don't know if you've ever been here, but it's an amazing place. It's growing so much, especially since the Vail Corporation acquired 2 of our 3 ski resorts. So when I first moved here, there was nothing. I was telling my son, who was 12 the other day, he goes, "Mom, what was here when you first moved here?" And I go, "It was Kmart. It was Kmart and McDonald's. And now we have outlet malls and roundabouts, and the other ski resort just got sold." So I am looking for that next best place. It might not be for a few years, but while I'm in Park City, I'm making that effort to really enjoy it here. I mean, it's a vacation destination, and people would die to live in Park City. Yeah. So I find myself on some days going, "Oh, there's so many people here." But then I go, "Look at this beautiful place. There's mountains, there's bears, there's moose." So it's a great outdoor place, and I ski and I mountain bike and write books.
Yeah, and you write books, and that's something we definitely want to talk about. It happened to Colorado, too, where I lived there for a while, and then all of a sudden it got so busy in Denver that I was like, where did all these people come from? This was just a little place that it wasn't a very big city, but I know people came to ski. But, you know, it happens. We get so used to a place and it's so cool to us, and then all of a sudden other people find it and they like it too, and we don't even want to share it. You know?
I know. Well, and my son keeps asking me, he goes, "Why are you getting so rattled by this?" And I said, "Here's the deal." I go, when you're in somewhere like Los Angeles, you expect traffic. You expect it to be crowded. But here, since it was not crowded and now it is, it's kind of twice as bad.
Yeah, it was the same in Denver, and I know I love Denver too, and I can imagine what you're going through. And we left because it got very expensive because of that too. So, but enough about our places we live, because you still get to live there and you still get to enjoy it, and that's just awesome. But tell us about the reason behind the book that you wrote, "Oh Honey, I'm Just Getting Started."
Wow.
And the whole journey about this book. I'm so excited to hear about it.
It is. So again, I was staying at home, starting to dabble in my holistic nutrition and my Reiki, and knowing that there was something out there for me. So as I was approaching 50, I was getting met with a lot of what society expects, like oh my gosh, you're 50. Wow. And really starting to have this mindset of, let me back up a little. My mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's when she was 54.
Oh, wow.
So I always had that little thought in my head of when I lose the keys, right?
Yeah.
Or it's like, I'm not going to go down that same road. But the night before my 50th birthday, my brother, who still lives in New Jersey, and we have a very snarky family. There's a lot of love there, but can be very sarcastic. He sent me a text and he said, congratulations, you're half dead. And I kind of looked at it and I thought to myself, I go, yesterday I felt like that. And my response to him was, oh, honey, I'm just getting started. And so
Wow.
I was able to celebrate the big 50, right, with going, all right, what am I going to do with this now? What am I going to do with this new attitude? And I had started working with a gentleman in Santa Barbara probably 6 months beforehand. His name is Jesse Brissendine. He's a young man that has an amazing story, but Jesse did 1,000 new things in 1 year.
Wow.
Right? A lot younger, a lot more energy. But Jesse came to that crossroads in his life where he had a lot of loss in his life. Yeah. And again, it was at crossroads, like I was at my 50th, and he was like, I could lay down and be depressed, or I could really live life. Because he had a couple of friends that died very suddenly, so he didn't want to get caught up in that. So I said, you know what? I called him and I said, would you mind? Can I borrow your idea? But I'm going to do 50 for 50. And I started a blog about it. I think I had 2 readers at the time, my aunt and my cousin at that point. But it's kind of took a life of its own. I didn't have a list going in. It wasn't going to be, well, I'm going to go to Paris and get my nails done, because I've been there, done that, right? And it just all really happened organically, and it almost took me exactly a year to get to that 50. And I didn't want to go in there with all about me. It was going to be, I wanted to pay things forward. I wanted aha moments. And, of course, a lot of travel thrown in there.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
It was a very cool experience.
Yeah, it sounds so exciting. So can you describe the book? Is it really about your journey then during this year that you did 50 different things in the year of your 50?
Right. How the book is laid out is each chapter is one of my stories, so you get to see the fun and the ahas and the paying it forward. And then at the end of each chapter, I have an exercise for my reader so that you can step into your best self. And maybe I'll give you an example. My first 50 for 50 was completely afraid of heights. And you lived in Colorado. Have you ever done Independence Pass before?
Yes.
Over to Aspen. I was the one in the back seat with a blanket over my head because I couldn't do it. So my first 50 for 50 was, we have a hiking trail here near the Sundance Resort that it felt like to me it was thousands upon 10,000s of feet drop. And I would always take the chairlift up and come back. I couldn't hike all the way down it because there was such sheer drop-offs. So that day I go, I'm going to push through and do this, because I had my child with me. I didn't want to show him that mom was afraid.
Yeah.
And in the book, I tell you how many F-bombs came out.
I love it.
So that was one of my stories. And then at the end of the chapter, I have, what's a fear you've always wanted to overcome? Get yourself a courage buddy and go out and do it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, because I think, one of the things that I heard from someone a long time ago, and I didn't practice it at first, but I'm much better at it now, is try everything.
Yes.
Because if you don't like to do it, you won't ever have to do it again.
Absolutely.
But you've learned something so fun that you didn't even expect that you would even like.
Absolutely. And there were things that came out of this book that I wanted to try, where I never thought I would try. I went to race car school. I got a tattoo, if you can see that. It took me 50 years. I've always wanted to get a tattoo, and I asked the gentleman, I said, am I the oldest person you've ever worked on? And he said, no, ma'am. Somebody in here was just 70 years old. Well, you're either lying to me or that's so cool.
I love it. Oh, that's so great. And we can get this book at any bookstore or at Amazon.
It's sold at the bookstore here in Park City, but you can get it on Amazon and also off of my website.
Okay. I'm so excited about it because I love it when people really, like you said, just stretch yourself to the limits that you didn't even think were possible. Not only do you do it, but then you write about it and you help and inspire others to maybe do something like that too. And I love that. I mean, I just think it's so great to read about those kinds of things.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. And let me tell you a little bit more about how the blog became a book.
Please.
Because I think that'll help people go, well, I can't just sit down and write a book and get it out.
Right.
Again, it was just a blog, and I ended up going to a conference, and I had a gentleman who wrote the foreword in my book, Michael, was like, you need to get this message out. He said, there's others that are like you that know they want to do something more. And so that's how it evolved into the book.
Oh, that's so awesome. So really it started as a blog and you decided to talk about it, post about it. I bet by the time you were done, you had so many followers by that point, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, because, I mean, blogging about travel or blogging about personal things in our life really entices people to want to come in and see and visit that, you know. So I'm excited. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to pick up that book. So tell us, what did you come away from after doing this book project? Because I'm sure this didn't happen overnight. It was probably over quite a period of time, right?
It was. You know, I had all the blog material, so that took a year. Yes. But once I got that idea in my head to write a book, it from start to finish, it was 6 months, which just blew me away. So what I came away with was empowerment. And you know what? I was a stay-at-home mom, hardest job in the world, hardest job I've ever had, but I still wanted something more. And this gave me that confidence. Again, I came from that corporate life, and I kind of lost myself in that process. And so having done all 50 things gave me that empowerment. My 50th thing that I did, I envisioned having a trip to Thailand to come visit you or Tahiti or somewhere with a group of girlfriends. And I was in Vegas with my family. And I don't know if you've ever been down there and been on that biggest Ferris wheel. No. So the year before, I had been too scared to do that with my heights. And I'm getting chills just thinking about that night because I just got out of there I was supposed to be doing this. So I was on there and it stops up on the top and it stopped at 550 feet up in the air. And they gave me a glass of champagne and then the screen started saying Zen on it for some. I don't know. I've been on there before. I've never seen that since. But it was just, I dropped into my body and I was like, wow, this is so cool. And it was at that point, Kathy, that I really wanted to say, I want to share this with people. I want to get this out there and I want to help people that have that idea and move forward with it. And so they can feel that sense of accomplishment that I did on that day. It was a really cool feeling.
That is so awesome because, you know, we all are capable of all the things that you talk about doing. We all are capable of them, but we always hear this little voice, and it's the voice of fear, and it tells us we can't do it, and it keeps pounding at us, and it's really a bunch of bullshit, really. I mean,
it definitely is.
You know, we just have to let those naysayers or what we hear, what we think we can't do. Maybe it came from when we were younger. I mean, I was told there were certain things I could never do because I was a girl.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah. And so, you know, as I got older, I'm thinking, what does that have to do with anything. If I'm a girl or a boy or whatever I am, I should be able to do anything I want to do. And
Absolutely.
we get those messages, right? And then when you venture into something like this, and then all of a sudden you're at the top of a Ferris wheel.
Right. Yeah, it was very mind blowing. It was mind blowing. Those little voices that you talk about, I call those the blah blah blahs. It's
Yes.
like, what are people going to think of me? And oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. One of the points in my life where I really experienced those, and I know you may have gone through this too, is when I announced to people I was moving to Europe. Wow, I can't believe you're going to do that, and I'd never do anything like that. I can tell you resonate with that.
Yes.
Right around that time, I'm not a country western fan. Adam Levine, Maroon 5 all the way. But Garth Brooks had a song, and in there the line said, your biggest critics are those people that put their own dreams on a shelf. And I printed that out and I put it on my desk, and that really got me through. So it was tapping back into that field, because I'm still getting people, oh, you can't do this. How can you leave your child and go do a business trip to Santa Barbara? And, at the end of the day, if I'm making myself happy and whole, it echoes out. So that's what I do, is help people get over those voices in their head. Because we all have them. I still have them. I'm not perfect.
Right.
But you can do it. And this book really proved to me that I could do it. And I can't tell you the people that I met because of the book and the experiences I had. So it was very life-changing.
I can imagine it took you to another place where you felt you could help others now, which is really wonderful when we come to that and think, wow, our life is worth it. And we can show other people that their life is worth it just by our own experiences. And the thing that I do love about certain coaches, is that, like yourself, you're not telling somebody to do something that you haven't done already.
Absolutely.
And that's
what I want to empower them to do is, I'm not going to fix you, but I am going to give you the tools that you can help yourself. And those are the people that come to me that I really found that are empowered and want to change their life situation. I always say, look at your stories, your old stories that you're telling yourself. Do you want to be telling those to yourself in a year from now? It's like, get out there and do it.
Just get out and do it. Like, you have nothing to lose, really. No one has really anything to lose.
Absolutely.
If they try something new, right? I mean, what is it that you're going to lose?
Exactly.
And those little experiences like you're talking about, like getting over the fear of heights.
Right.
Those little things add up to that confidence, all up in your throat.
Yes.
And you think, I can do anything after that. I mean,
yeah.
If I can conquer that, I can do anything. Like, I went up on a Ferris wheel, for God's sake, that was 550 feet high.
Absolutely. I'm kind of giggling because as you're saying that, one of my experiences was going to race car school in Vegas. And when I got out of there, I felt like I had been at the mall back in New Jersey at Christmas time, just driving and looking for a spot. But I was like, hey, I still got out there and did it. I might have been going extremely slow, but I've since gone back and gone faster. So I'm happy with that.
Isn't that funny? It's just so funny how it works. It really, really is. So you're doing intuitive coaching. Tell me what intuitive coaching is.
The last 3 or 4 years, I've really been opening up my intuition and not being afraid to do that. So when I'm sitting down with you, I'm using those messages that I'm downloading, for lack of a better word, to really step in and find out what's going on with your soul. So I'm also an energy mastery practitioner, and how I explain that is I've done Reiki. I call it Reiki with a graduate degree. It's very clean and clear, and just getting my clients' energy clear before we even start going in there. Because if your energy is clear, then you work on your physical body, and then everything else will fall into place with some work on your part. And
Right.
but it's, just really downloading messages and saying, okay, this is what they're saying, but this is what they're really thinking. So it's been quite a cool experience for me to do
I
that
can
and to
imagine.
do
It's
some
so
big
funny to
changes.
talk about that because
Yeah.
today I went to an intuitive doctor because
Perfect.
I don't believe in going to a medical doctor because I don't believe in
Right.
um, prescription drugs, and I don't believe in the way the world has gotten with drugs like that. So I decided to go to an intuitive doctor, and I can tell you this: it was amazing.
Yep.
And being an intuitive like yourself,
Yeah. Yeah.
that
It's
you
so
cannot, your body cannot get better unless you really feel the emotional things that are going on to affect your body to begin with.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Certain blockages
Yeah.
and just old things that you've stored in there. You were mentioning before about people telling you couldn't do something because you were a girl.
Yes.
I was at a meeting where had a woman there, beautiful woman, successful business, but she wasn't moving forward. And she got to the point where she realized that when she was 5, her brother told her she was never going to be good enough at anything. And that had stuck with her, and she's 45 now.
Yeah.
So once she cut the cords around that and cleared it out, she's taken off now. So there's so much mind, body, spirit.
That happened to me today. So I'm hoping those clearings that happened will really help me to heal my body to like 100%. And it's not like I'm a sick person, but there's things that, like just little things as you get older, you think, why is that happening? Why is that happening? Well, 9 times out of 10, like you're saying, it's emotionally connected. And
Definitely.
sometimes we don't even realize that we're holding on to some of those things.
Absolutely. Coming from a background of pharmaceuticals, I kind of giggle because my dad was a pharmaceutical sales rep. My mom was a nurse. I have a nursing degree, and I worked in the hospital for 2 years before going to industry. And someone explained it to me the other day. It took me that long. They're like, when you're in a hospital, think about how much heavy emotion is going on there. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for someone to be in the hospital. And yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting that you said I just went to a new naturopathic doctor yesterday, and she was so cute. She started saying, people keep telling me I'm psychic. What do they mean? And I said, it sounds like you're really good about determining where in a person's body there's blockages. And so I said, embrace that. I go, that is such a great gift to have in their profession.
Right. It really is. I came home and I felt a lot lighter in my shoulders, and now I feel tired tonight. Like I probably will sleep very, very well. But it's kind of like once you start something like that with someone like yourself, you want to keep going because then you realize that you have the opportunity to be the best person you can be. And who doesn't want that?
Yeah. I love that. It's funny you should say that because I've had a couple clients recently and I had to go back and kind of review what our sessions were like. But I think they started feeling so good on the first session, it kind of freaked them out a little bit.
Right.
And it was almost like, okay, they either thought they didn't deserve to feel so good, or it was, I try to explain to people that when you start clearing up your energy blockages, again, you can relate when you're in that foreign country and you don't speak the language, that kind of, feeling. That's how it is when you start cleaning up your energy. It's going to feel foreign for a little bit, but stick with it because it feels amazing.
I am. I'm going to stick with it. And I'm so excited that I even found a doctor like this because in Seattle, it's the land of naturopaths because the John Bastyr College is here.
Yeah.
And so my second thing, but then I thought, you know what? I think I'm a healthy person, but I think some of these things are attached to something else. I just felt it inside and I was right. And so now we can do something about it. And it's great to have people like you in the world to help people, because my mother wants to go, but she wants me to explain to her what this doctor did. And there's no way I can explain it. I mean, you have to go and you have to feel it and you have to be part of it. And you have to realize that there are other options in the world besides medical doctors.
Yes. Thank you for putting that out there. It's slowly but surely making its way out there. And I had someone ask me this morning, I was talking to a friend about going to the naturopath, and she's like, oh my gosh, but it's so expensive and insurance doesn't cover it. And I explained to her, I go, it's preventive. You put out that money now for energy work and what you're doing, and it's going to save you thousands of dollars of disease later on.
I believe.
Like, oh, I never thought of it.
Thank you for doing it. I mean, really, thank you for doing it, because we need more people like it, like I said, like this in the world that can do other sorts of healings besides just going to the doctor and getting a little pill, and there you go, and you'll feel better tomorrow. I mean, it's enough already. I've had enough of that already. So
yes, you and me both.
I'm delighted to hear that you did all this that you do. And not only that, but you're a celebrant.
Yes.
And I am a celebrant, but I don't know that I want. Somebody told me to sign up to be a celebrant, that I would be really good at marrying people. So I just signed up to be a celebrant. And so, but I've never married anybody, but I know that you have gone through quite a bit more than that. So tell us a little bit about that.
So that journey started, again, of me finding my 2.0, and it's still something I do part-time because just the joy on that wedding day is amazing. A friend of mine asked me to get ordained on the internet because she was getting married down in Zion National Park and couldn't find anybody. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I've never done it before. And loved it. Absolutely loved it. Got another wedding out of a guest there. And at the same time, I ended up finding the Celebrant Institute, which is based back in New Jersey, and it's an online, but you're dialing in for classes. And
oh, wow.
You know, I've met the coolest people. I have a beautiful friend now up in Vancouver, BC, that I met through the Celebrant Foundation, and we'll call each other and compare bride notes. And
I love it.
The thing that I'm finding now is, so the Celebrant Foundation is a year-long program, and it really gives you the fundamentals. So I'm telling the couple stories. I just did a wedding a couple months ago where I had the bride and the groom each write me a letter about each other, and I incorporated that into their ceremony. So it's very personal. I sit down, hopefully months ahead. I've had a few last-minute ones. But one of the things that I'm coming up with now is so many people don't want to spend the money, and they're going to get someone ordained on the internet and have a friend do it. So it's getting that word out there that this is your wedding day, and so you want it to be special, and that shouldn't be an afterthought as who's doing the officiating. So it's been a really cool experience. The weddings that I've been trying to do and have been coming true are more adventure weddings, and I did one last summer at 10,000 feet on the side of a mountain because I had no fear of heights.
That's right.
But the groom was looking at me because I had my back to the drop off, and he's like, please don't move back anymore. And I go, just don't move back anymore. So they were so sweet, but on the way up to this particular wedding, I told them it was kind of a sad story. The bride's dad got diagnosed with cancer, so she wanted to do a quicker wedding, and then they're going to do a bigger one. But I said, I feel like something really special is going to happen that day. And we're on top of this 10,000-foot mountain, and all of a sudden there was a choral group practicing. So they ended up having music for their wedding. And the bride's mom came up to me and she goes, so how far out did you have to arrange that music? And I was like, I had nothing to do with it. They just appeared at 10,000 feet. So it's been, I highly encourage you, get the word out there and do some weddings because it's very gratifying.
Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, I have the little certificate and I have all the stuff, and I think someone's going to call me, and I have a little bit about it on my Facebook page or my website. Like, no one's called me. No one's going to call me. I'm not marketing anything, but I think, people said, Kathy, you would just so much enjoy it. Like, I'm sure you do. Just being involved in the love that two people have at that very moment on that very day.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm thinking of a particular wedding where the groom was rough and tumble and liked his beer. He was the biggest sap that day. He couldn't stop crying then I started crying. So it's cool. I had dinner with them the other night. It's cool to have the bond with them afterward and follow. And with the Celebrate Foundation, you're also getting fundamentals for doing different types of ceremony. I do ceremonies around divorce and job loss, again, kind of the coaching clients, because a lot of people are moving away from, I grew up in the Catholic Church.
Same.
I can't tell you the last time I went to church.
Neither.
There's really nowhere we can come for ceremony, and these things should still be marked. And, a transition, a job loss, a friend of mine lost her job very suddenly the other day, and I sat with her and I showed her the gifts. She's trying to become an actress. And I said, cool, look what you can do now. And so we sat down and worked out a plan of getting her how she can get support and income while pursuing her dream. So it's just those little transitions, because we don't stop long enough, Kathy, to mark those. And you need to do that with divorces. And my son is turning 13 this October, and I want to do some kind of ceremony because that's such a cool age for him. I call him Boy Man because he's taller than me now. He's got the deep voice, but he still likes to snuggle.
Oh, I love it, because that's the thing that I always hated when my kids got older, is that they quit snuggling. It's like, one minute they were on the couch next to you, and then 10 or 11 came and they were on the other end of the couch, and you're like, what are you doing over there?
I know.
Nothing. This is how it's going to be from now on. It just happened so suddenly. So that's awesome that he's snuggling.
Well, not if there's any friends present.
So tell us what's next in your pipeline.
Wow. There's a few things coming up. I have a companion workbook coming out. It could be as early as next week for this book. Because
nice.
I had a few people say, cool, great, you gave me stuff to think about. Where do I go from here? Right. So this gets you in there a little bit deeper, and I have journal pages that you can really start and think of your journey.
That's awesome.
I am also in the middle of book number 2, and when I first started writing it, it was going to be called My Life Since Then, and kind of things that have happened because of this first book. And as I started going, my intuition was knocking me on the head, and it said, no, and this will resonate with you. You need other people's stories in there. So I have been interviewing people for the book, and what the basis of this one is going to be is, where did your intuition open up? Or where was your aha moment? I think a lot of people, we're all born with intuition. Some of us are taught to stuff it down. Some of us don't know what to do with it or don't have those resources to support it. So it's going to be a chicken soup for the soul type format. But I'm calling it a guidebook to help people who are starting their journey and don't know where to go. So you can come and get resources and hear other people's stories and know. I mean, it's been beautiful. I've talked to a young woman that stuffed her intuition down her entire young life, and it reappeared when she was deployed over in Iraq, and it saved her life.
Wow.
So really, I mean, the stories that are coming to me, and people are coming to me. I had a woman in Santa Barbara that her story was amazing. She's been to India 13 times, and so stay tuned for that one. I'm excited. It's kind of writing itself.
No, I would love to hear all. I can't wait to hear all about it, because I am like, I love hearing people's stories. That's why this radio show exists, because I love hearing how people got from point A to point B, or I like hearing about the joy that they felt when they got there, or the joy that they didn't feel and they never felt. And, I mean, we all have our own unique stories. So You know, it makes a difference to hear those. I think it then attaches it to us, to those people. We feel
Exactly.
more of a connection when we hear someone's story, because we each have a piece of each other's story a little bit, you know?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And through this whole journey with my book, the people that are coming into my life from all over the world, we all have something in common. It's been amazing, the people that have come into my world from just writing the book and getting myself out there and meeting people. It's very
I
cool.
love it. Oh, I just think that's so fantastic, Trish. I love hearing your story about how this journey has led you to so many other things that you probably never even expected, right?
If you had told me 2.5 years ago that I was writing a book or doing any of this, I would have was like,
Oh, yeah, whatever. Get
yeah,
out of here.
whatever. And I was guilty of that. Well, someday I want to write a book, or someday I want to.
Yeah,
So I seized that someday.
I love it. I think it's fantastic. I I'm sure you know this about me, but I am all about paying it forward. I love Pay It Forward. I love the premise of Pay It Forward. I had Denver Pay It Forward movement when I was in Denver.
Yeah.
So tell me how you pay it forward, because I know that's part of your life as well.
It is, and it's getting more and more important. And it's so synchronistic that we're talking about this right now with Houston going on and the hurricane. And I'm getting goosebumps talking about this too. Through Jesse that I mentioned before that did the 1,000 things in 1 year, he had a friend who started a charity called Reach Out Worldwide, which was the late actor Paul Walker started Reach Out Worldwide. And I've become involved by raising funds for them, donating, and certainly getting the word out for them when I'm on interviews. Because I'll tell you a little bit about Reach Out Worldwide. Paul started it. He had a great acting career, Fast and Furious, and he didn't want that to define him. He wanted to use his, what do you call it, famousness, for lack of a better word, to do things for other people. He was very much about pay it forward. So he said, it was after the big earthquake in Haiti, I want to do something. I want to go. And I think it was a couple days later that he and 4 or 5 friends loaded thousands of pounds of medical supplies and hopped on a plane. And, here was this Hollywood star down in Haiti doing this. And they went to Chile, and they were after the tsunami, and they were in Colorado and Boulder with the floods. So just getting more and more involved with them and getting the word out, because I feel so strongly about it. I'm encouraging people to send them donations, because they're waiting kind of till the water goes down in Houston. And that's their strong point. They're going to go in and help people rebuild their houses or clean out all the debris. So it's been a cool journey to watch that. Unfortunately, Paul has passed away. And in some respects, I say to people, and they look at me like I'm crazy, that I think he's doing more good up there, because he's brought so many people together with this charity, with other organizations, and people are really getting the word out for this. So
Tell us how we can get involved, and tell us the website or whatever you want to tell us about it.
Absolutely. So after Paul passed away, his brother Cody quit his job in Oregon and moved down to California to keep Reach Out Worldwide going. So Cody's still getting that done. You mentioned the website. It's ROWW.org, Reach Out Worldwide. They also have a Twitter page and a Facebook page, and it's mainly right now donations, because they're going in and they have nurses and doctors that come in and help people that leave their practices and help out people. So donations is a big thing. And know that, especially for Houston, that it is going to a good cause. Because I saw something on Facebook the other day. They said, especially after a national disaster like this, the natural disaster, there's so many places to donate that people get overwhelmed and they end up not donating. So know that Reach Out Worldwide is very high vibe. You can trust them, and they're going to do good things with your money.
That's awesome. That's awesome to know that, because there was a charity that popped up on my Facebook page, and I donated this morning, and I posted it, because people always say, oh, you know, terrible, terrible, terrible that it's happened, but, put your money where your mouth is. That's how I feel about it. And no amount of money is too small. And I think people get up in that too, like, well, I only have $5. So what? $5 can be a part of the whole.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Someone had on their Facebook page today, they're like, if we all donated $5, think about how much they would get. So yeah, do the $5. Do it.
$5. Do whatever you have. I mean, that's what Pay It Forward's about. And then, someday that person that gets help is going to remember the help that they got, and they'll help someone else. And that's what really Pay It Forward's about. It's not about that they have to turn around and give something to you. It's about the simple of that,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's a charity near and dear to my heart.
All right. I thank you for sharing that, because I love to know people's Pay It Forward and what they, I love organizations for women and children. And I started Dress for Success in Denver, and that's near and dear to my heart. And it's still going, and I'm happy about that. But, there's so many things nowadays. There's women and children that are in the floodwaters, right? So
absolutely. I saw the other day they needed diapers, and this is really getting to my heart, this one, because I'm really spending some time going, things you don't even think of and you take for granted. Diapers. Like, what happens if you don't have diapers, right? So just even $5 or sending diapers down to Houston.
And again, just in case you just decided to tune in and maybe you missed it, reach out worldwide. It's www.roww.org, and you can go there. You can peruse around their website. You can see what they need. You can see how you can help. And no amount of money is too small. I can tell you this. I know this for a fact, and so do you.
Yeah,
Chris.
Absolutely.
You know it just as much as I do. So tell us what the future holds for you now.
Well, since I didn't win the Powerball the other night.
Darn!
I know. We were kind of having fun playing around with, well, if we won the Powerball.
I love that. It's so fun to do that.
I know. Absolutely. One of the things that I'm learning through all of my work and my experiences is live in the moment. So I don't go into the future too much. I call it the non-existent future, because what you imagine could happen, look at the people in Texas, right? I'm not one of those people saying I'm not going to plan anything. Of course, I have to do that, but really living in the moment. And I want to continue on my track and keep getting my word out there and let people know that there's different ways of doing everything. You're talking about the pharmaceutical industry. Again, having worked in there, I know what it's all about, and doing a 180-degree turn. So just stepping into your best self, enabling people, giving them the tools to clear up their energy and live their best life. Because I go back to Paul Walker. He was here one minute and he was gone the next. That can happen to anybody, and it's, I always say the best way to honor someone that passed away is to live a life that they would be proud of. And so I'm really trying to do that and live in the moment, plan for the future, and just get my word out and help people like you are. I mean, I love the premise of what you're doing with sharing this, because you don't know that someone just tuned in, but something that we're talking about really resonates and changes their life. So thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah, that's really the hope, is that, someone will tune into somebody just by accident and they'll go, wow, I thought I couldn't do that, but maybe I can because she did it.
Yeah.
And that's, if you change one life in your whole life, then you've done your work.
It's funny you should say that, because I was like, if one person reads my book and it makes a shift. I had someone send me a text message yesterday. I had worked with her a little bit around finding the perfect relationship. And she says, I did everything you told me, and lo and behold, a week later, he walked in the door. And that, I've texted her back, and it was one of those days where I was kind of questioning life, and I texted her back, and I go, You sent that at the exact right moment. Thank you for doing that for me.
Yeah.
And so it's little baby steps. Everybody thinks we have to have this big, huge result. Like, you don't get a college degree like that, right? It's 4 years of hard work, but take those baby steps, because if you try and do everything all at once, you're going to get pooped out and you're not going to do anything. So
Exactly.
I always tell people, I've had so many people say, I want to write a book. I want to write a book. Write one page, even a week or a day. If you write one book or one page a day, you have a book in a year.
Yeah. That's what someone told me too. Like, I started to write a book when I was in Thailand, and then when I got here, something happened, and I don't know what it is. I have to get it all back. I found things dangling up in the ceiling, and like, Kathy, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
Get back to it.
So I wrote like every day for an hour, and I have like half of a year, so I have 200 and some pages.
Right. Well, when you're ready to get that into book form, call me. I have a great coach for that. Her name is awesome. The name of Stacy's company is The Memoir Midwife. She helps you give birth to your book.
Oh.
I handed her my stack of blog papers, and she worked with me, and we got it into book format. And if it wasn't for her and my book designer, Katie, Park City is kind of becoming this little hotbed of people getting books out, and we have pop-up companies that I've been so lucky and blessed to have their support.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I always say they're my pit crew. I'm like, you need your pit crew.
It's good to have a pit crew.
Absolutely, absolutely.
What would you like to see happen as a result of your book?
I think it's what you just said before. If I change one person's life and I can give somebody inspiration, my big thing is say yes to your soul. We all have that little gnawing voice in there. If I can help somebody say yes to their soul and step into their you 2.0, then my job is done. My job is done.
I agree. I agree with you 100%. And so many things that you've said have resonated with me, and our lives are parallel in so many ways as well. I love that about hearing your story. How can people find out more about your work? Now tell us, because I'll put it also on my website. I will put all your information, but please give the information how people can get a hold of you the best way, where they can find your book, all of that.
Absolutely. So the book website is rockyournextdecade.com. And
I'm writing it down.
This started out as for people going into a new decade, and kind of has taken on a life of its own of people in transition. So rockyournextdecade.com. My coaching website is trishwalker.us.
Yes, I know about that one.
And then my Twitter is @50for-a-year.
Yes.
And then Instagram is trish.walker1. Well, and I always giggle because if you Google Trish Walker, I guess there's a show, a Marvel superhero show on the CW network, and the girl's name is Trish Walker.
Yes.
So we're both superheroes.
I love it. Yes, you are. You're both superheroes. I agree with you 100%.
She looks better in her outfit than I do, though.
Oh, I love it. It's so fantastic. I just, again, want to remind everyone that the name of the book is, wait a minute here. I've got it on my.
I was going to hold it up, but it's backwards.
Oh, honey, I'm just getting started. This is the name of the book. This is what it looks like, okay? So yes. Please, if you want to push yourself a little bit harder, and then you want to try something new like Trish did, just have a read of it, because really, that's really what your book is about. It's about every single chapter is a little bit about what your fear was and what you're going to try new. And I just love that. I think that just gives us so much hope and courage, to be able to read about someone else doing this and then actually making it happen. And can you imagine the guy that did 1,000 in a year? Wow. Yeah.
I was going to suggest that you might want to call him for an interview, because he really.
Yeah, I will call him. So thank you. I really
Oh,
so much appreciate you being here and getting to meet you face to face and just sharing this kind of moment together. We've had an hour together now, and I am just really grateful that we are able to connect and have this time together. And I know that we'll definitely talk again. And I would love to have you come on in the new year and talk about your new workbook and how that's going, because I like to follow up with people that tell their story as well, because it's funny how changing life can be and how things change. Yeah.
Definitely. Thank
So,
you so much. I so appreciate you. I so appreciate this opportunity.
oh, I'm so grateful too, Trish. And everyone, thank you for your support for What's Your Story Radio. I appreciate it. I appreciate your emails, and I appreciate your support on Facebook and Twitter, and gosh, my YouTube channel, which is going to take a big turn here in the next few months. So thank you for just being there and realizing that what's your story is so important to each and every one of us. We all have a story. It's unique and wonderful. And to have the opportunity for all of us to share is something that I am so thankful for.
Oh,
So thank you, Trish. And thank you, everyone. And I'll see you on Friday.
take care. Have a great day.